This is how you can make a front cover for your Word document. First of all, you have to do it in Photoshop. You can't possibly do it in InDesign. When you're in Photoshop, the first thing to do is go to the File menu and go to Open and find the photo that you want to use. The next thing you've got to do is cut it down to size. Now, Photoshop has got a special crop tool, which is this guy over here. When you click on the crop tool, you'll see that a marquee forms around your image, as I've shown here. Now, an A4 size is 210 by 297, so just make sure that this is ratio, and in the first box type 210, and in the second box type 297. And that will show you the aspect ratio. You can actually move this around by just clicking and dragging. Take note of where these lines intersect, because they are the most important parts of your photo. When you're happy with the way it looks, just press return or enter, and that will set the crop. The next thing you want to do is to put on your type. Now, Photoshop has a type tool, which is just over here, and it works in a similar fashion to the type tool in InDesign. The only difference is you don't actually need a text frame. Bring your type tool to where you want your type to appear, and that's where you can use those third lines, or the intersection of the third lines, to give you an idea of where best to put your type. Now, just make sure that you've got the color that you want. If this is the wrong color, you can click on it, and by dragging around these little arrows, you can set the actual color or the hue, and by just clicking somewhere in it, you can set the actual color that you want. I'm going to stick with white, and I'm just going to click over here and type in environment. Now, I want to make that type a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to click and, click and drag over it, or double click, triple click, and I'll change that to about 48 points. You can see it's going right off the page, but that's all right. I can get my move tool and simply move it into position. So we'll put it round about there. And I'm actually going to put a second layer of type, or a second row of type as well. I'll just click over here and we'll type something in. Now, I would like that to be a subhead, so I'm going to make that much smaller. Instead of 48, I'll make that about 30 points. You can change your font and the style and all that sort of thing. Once again, I'm going to get my move tool and just bring it into position, and I think that looks pretty good. What we've got to do now is save it in a format that Word can understand. And there really is only one format that Photoshop makes that is understood by Word, and that's the PNG or PNG format. So when you go to your File menu, go to Save As, put it wherever you want it, give it a name, whatever you want to call it, but this is the important part. Instead of Photoshop, make sure you save it as a PNG, and then click on Save. Pretty soon a dialog box is going to come up, and it's going to ask me for my options. I can just leave it at the smallest slow, and you don't want any interlacing for that, so just click OK, and you'll see down the bottom it will be saving. So once it's saved, you can just open up your Word document and place it like you would any other photo, except as it's the cover. Just make sure you've got no margins on your Word document so that it covers the entire page. I hope this helps.